Hi everyone, welcome to Your Value. So it's been such a long time since I've actually made a video. Probably going to be quite a bit rusty. And today I'm just going to go off on a different format than I usually go on. Like I've got this pad which I can write things on. And I thought I might just begin a video in such, my first video in such a long time. Who knows how many months. Obviously, a lot of things have happened, which also means it creates a lot of opportunities. It also means it heightens the risks of a lot of things as well. Stocks have fallen, wars have happened. There's a lot of things that have happened. And today we're just going to just briefly glimpse over the things that have happened, because obviously we're probably not going to go over everything, or else it's going to take a long time to really go through everything. So I want to talk about today's topics around things that we should highlight that's happening. So obviously war is happening. Okay, so never mind like my handwriting if it's not too neat, it's just a nice way to keep track of the ideas and the themes that we'd probably be looking at for the rest of the year. So we know that there's war between Russia and Ukraine, which kind of means a lot of things because, and especially on an economic aspect, we've got Russia, which is a big supplier of oil and natural gas. So all of a sudden, with sanctions, that's going to put quite a bit of a constraint on those. It's going to push prices up, and then basically the whole world's going to experience higher prices. So that brings me to my next part, which is inflation, because basically with a lack of resources and increased demand, basically we're going to see higher prices. So that's one of the key themes this year that I reckon we have to look out for: inflation. That prices are going to move way more than what people get paid, and that's been the general reality of life in general. But this year, I think we're going to see it a lot more, and it's going to be a much bigger concern than it ever was. And I think that's where governments start to find themselves, how they're able to tackle these challenges for the people. And yeah, that's the thing. So we see war, which is going to put a pressure on oil, natural gas, also wheat. If you didn't know, Ukraine and Russia produce about nearly a third of the world's wheat, which is incredible. Those numbers are, they're astronomical. And all of a sudden, if you have war, basically they're meant to be sowing in their crops now, but they're not because they're at war. Like Ukraine obviously can't, and Russia probably expects that sales are going to be lower, so they're going to plant less wheat, and basically overall we're just going to have a lower amount of production of wheat when it comes to harvest time, which is usually closer to the middle to the end of the year for them. So that's the thing. We have to think about what it's going to do to the world's supply when it comes to traditionally when it comes to their harvest time, and then basically that's probably going to push prices up. It's actually pushed prices up a lot. So next time I do another video, I think I will drag up a few charts, and then we're going to look at some charts around pricing of commodities, particularly the ones that have been severely affected with basically Russia and Ukraine, and just at oil in general. Like I think oil prices are just gonna push things up. Also with COVID, it takes a lot of the supply chain and logistics, and it starts to affect it in such a big way, if we've seen for the last basically 2 years. That's my other point as well. So I don't think COVID's entirely going to be fixed this year. So that's one thing that we're going to be on constant updates about what it's doing to the rest of the world, how it's affecting our supply chains. So basically, what we're looking at is basically with war, we've got basically disruptions. Apologize for that R. this tablet's actually still very new to me, so writing of it is probably going to take a bit of getting used to. So we're going to see big disruption, see prices, or basically expenses going up, you know. And in with COVID, we're going to see basically, I should probably write delays. So if we learn anything in the world is basically time and money is what everyone strives for when they do anything, right? That's kind of what keeps the world running. People with time trade it for money, and people with money try to buy more time. And basically, we see these three main themes having probably the biggest impact for the rest of the year. Because I don't see this war ending anytime soon. Even if it does, the sanctions are placed on Russia, and it affects basically everything that Russia's destroyed in Ukraine makes it incredibly difficult for them to put themselves together too quickly. So we're basically going to see that those war effects last quite a long time. Inflation was already going to be very high this year. With the extra effects, it's going to be super high, and I think that's going to make investing very difficult as well, because even the best companies may not always do the best when it comes to having to increase prices. Like, we've seen luxury items increase quite a lot, but the thing is, when people buy luxury items, then the ones that can buy luxury items are usually the ones with money, so maybe they aren't affected so heavily. But all the other items, like commodities, are going to be very heavily affected, because all of a sudden, if your household can't afford to buy as much, they're going to buy less, sales are going to go down, and we're going to see performances by companies much lower than they used to be. But of course, it depends on what it is. Some items are better than others. Hence, we go back to that situation where Warren Buffett used to talk about moats. That if you have a moat around your product, people will buy it regardless. It can be in the form of loyalty, or it can be in the form of an essential. And basically, if you're in a monopoly and people have to buy from you, then that's also a great situation to be in as well. And basically with COVID, any company that's not prepared on the supply chain situation is going to be very heavily affected as well. So that's the one thing that I think a lot of companies are experiencing, is that as COVID kind of starts to take people out of work, because if they get sick, they can't work. And basically it puts a strain on anything trying to get done in a timely manner. And that's basically going to mean that if your company can't move things or create things in a timely manner, basically you don't have stock on shelves, and basically you can't sell anything. If it's not on the shelf, it's not going to get sold. Or if you can't ship it in time, people might not buy from you in that sense. So for me today, I just want to speak about those three themes, and basically that's my summary of hey, war, COVID. Oh, I just realized it actually, my screen actually cuts that off. So I'll move it a little bit so you actually just get to see the words anyway, but you get the idea of what the words I was trying to write anyway. And it's just for those key points. It just gives me a kind of a new format to try out in terms of doing explanations of things rather than just talking. Writing it down actually just helps reaffirm those points. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, what the main themes to watch out for this year. Obviously we're already in March, so the year is passing incredibly quick. So yeah, I'll talk more on the next video, so hopefully I don't leave it too long, because I do love making these videos, and not making them for so long, it just kind of felt kind of weird as well. But of course it's very time consuming at the same time. And yeah, like it's sort of been quite busy as well. So that's the kind of thing, trying to balance life and trying to do stuff you want to do as well. It's always more complicated than it seems, and these videos always take a bit more time. So I'm trying to just create more videos, probably less editing. Like I'll try to get away with less editing if I can, but if not, if they don't work too well, I'll try to put a bit more time in editing, and then we'll just see how we go. And let me know if there's any topics you want to talk about, or any key stocks. Like there are some, I think what I learn is, I'm probably not going to be an expert on every stock, so I'll probably just speak about the ones that I think I'll know more about. Than say stocks that like you might hold them and you probably want to ask my opinion, but I might not necessarily be in the best situation in terms of knowledge to tell you about it. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Until then, good luck investing, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Also, like and subscribe. It's always really appreciated. Alright, see you later.